been 80 years since the United States entered World War II, helping push the Allies to victory. And sadly, many World War II veterans have since passed away, but their stories are being told by their loved ones. News 12's Kevin Vesey joins us now to tell us how one family is keeping their relatives' legacy alive. Kevin.
And Antoinette, it's just so important to preserve the stories and the memories of those heroic veterans. So this family found more than 100 letters that were written during World War II, and now those memories are being shared with the world. Here's part one of our series, Saving Their Legacy.
Unfortunately, that generation isn't here to tell their story, so it's left to the families to remember it and to tell it.
Mary Heider knows how special her father was. John Whiteman was a talented artist, a dad who raised his family in Seaford, and a World War II Navy veteran who bravely served on a minesweeper in the English Channel. He took part in the invasion that changed the course of human history.
The minesweeper he was on was one of the first ships into Normandy. He was there at D-Day. The minesweepers were so important to clear the way so that the invasion could happen.
Mary says her father didn't speak much about the war, but his stories are being carefully preserved.
These are all the original letters.
About 2 years ago, after her father had already passed away, Mary found a treasure trove of letters he had written during the war to his siblings. One describes his role on D-Day. "Let me tell you, the crew was plenty nervous on that trip. It's a sight I'll never forget as long as I live." Another letter talks about the tragic sinking of an American troop transport on Christmas Eve of 1944.
"I'll never forget this Christmas as long as I live, and I hope God spares me another one like it."
And to keep her father's stories alive, Mary used those letters to start a blog in his memory. The website now serving as a time capsule, looking back at the heroism and sacrifice of John Whiteman and so many others.
I realized that these are the stories he never told me and I never asked about.
And that blog has now become a way for Mary to connect with some of her father's shipmates. We'll explain the special bonds they've formed. That's coming up tomorrow in part 2 of our series.
Out to the daughter of a World War II Navy veteran who forged friendships with some of her father's former shipmates. And it all started through a shared desire to preserve stories about their dad's service and sacrifice. News 12's Kevin Vesey is here now with part 2 of our series, Saving Their Legacy. And Kevin, how did these people meet in the first place?
Yeah, Joe, it's really interesting. So this all started with a blog that was posted by the daughter of a World War II veteran from Seaford. And through those new connections, this woman was able to uncover and preserve important pieces of history.
The pictures tell the story of a U.S. Navy crew bound by duty, stationed in the English Channel during World War II. These were the men of the minesweeper YMS 346, including signalman John Patrick Whiteman, who would later raise a family in Seaford.
These are all the original letters.
As Whiteman's daughter, Mary Heider, sifts through memories her dad left behind, thousands of miles away, another family holds their own keepsakes from the war. The two families connected after Mary started a blog dedicated to her father.
I was floored, oh my gosh, this woman's dad served with my dad.
Kim Hardy's dad, signalman Neil Smith, was Whiteman's mentor on the ship.
Smitty and Jack. He was the signalman, and my dad is here.
Smith kept a diary describing in vivid detail what he experienced during the war. 3 p.m., June 5th, 1944, he wrote, "Well, here we go. We've just left Plymouth Harbor." 6 p.m., D-Day, he described the fighting, writing, "A few minutes ago, I saw a tank on the shore blow up. A direct hit, I guess. The noise, a steady boom, bang, kaboom." And just after midnight on June 9th, Smith wrote, "Mines or bombs dropped from airplanes. The explosion about 300 yards from us, through water and mud at least twice the height of our mast."
He wrote almost hour by hour things that were happening it's riveting to read, honestly.
Smith's diary also had sketches and a list of the crew. Today, the handwritten book is barely legible, slowly succumbing to the passing of time. History now preserved on Mary's blog.
it tells a story that people don't know, that is important to remember.
And that diary really is interesting to read. We'll have the whole thing for you on our website. Just head to news12.com to see that. And tomorrow, in part 3 of our series, we'll explain a tragedy the crew of that minesweeper witnessed, which was kept hidden from the public for more than 50 years.
As we celebrate our veterans this week, we look back on the importance of preserving their stories. News 12's Kevin Vesey explains how that's being done in part 3 of our series, Saving Their Legacy.
They're known as the greatest generation, the men and women who fought in World War II. But we're losing them. Approximately 131 pass away each day. And with each passing, their stories go with them, many not even in the history books. Mary Heider is trying to change that.
It's not just my dad's story. It's a story of everybody he served with.
Her father, John Whiteman of Seaford, served on a minesweeper in the English Channel. On Christmas Eve 1944, his ship took part in a rescue effort after a troop transport was sunk by a German U-boat. The SS Leopoldville was carrying reinforcements to the Battle of the Bulge. Hundreds of Americans were killed, but only the men on board knew what happened.
The information on this was shut down. In fact, it was classified until 1996, which is a very, very long time from the war.
It was too demoralizing, Christmas Eve. They wanted all the good news about the war, and then to have something like that happen. They kept it hush-hush for a long time.
Kim Hardy's father, Neil Smith, bravely jumped into the frigid waters to save the drowning soldiers. He was awarded for his heroism. Smith's shipmate, John Whiteman, captured the incident in a letter home to his sister.
I'll never forget this Christmas as long as I live, and I hope God spares me another one like it.
The letters, photos, and documents from both men now preserved on a website started by Mary, saving their legacy for generations to come.
Every day we lose more, and these stories are so worth preserving.
I just think it's really important that these guys are not forgotten.
This is a wonderful way to honor our fathers.
And it's just such a wonderful way to keep history alive. Now, if you'd like to look through that blog, read the letters, or check out all the other historical documents, we'll have them for you on our website. Just head to news12.com and click numbers and links to look at that. And Joe, it's just incredible what is being done to hold on to those stories, to preserve those stories.
Powerful stuff, Kevin, and we hope your story brings more of these stories out.
Absolutely.